competitions among major powers. These dynamics are unfolding not only worldwide, but also here in the Indo-Pacific and also in Southeast Asia. Rising geopolitical tension, deepening division of power, and persistent inequality are all becoming more severe, with far-reaching consequences for every nation in our region. In this era of transformative change, the pursuit for peace and security has never been more urgent. A peaceful world is not just an idea. It is a shared inspiration that demands cooperation, dialogue, and reconciliation. For over 5 decades, ASEAN has served as an anchor of peace and stability in Southeast Asia. As a member of ASEAN with strong relationship with all parties, Thailand is uniquely positioned to serve as a mediator, facilitating discussion and regional peace and stability. We at the Royal Thai Armed Forces Headquarters, through the National Defense Studies Institute, recognize the crucial role of the military in fostering an environment to trust amidst these uncertainty circumstances. Here, we have convened leading voices, institutions, and organizations dedicated to global security, to exchange perspective, new ideas, and explore solutions. We are united by a common purpose, is the pursuit of peace and security. We believe that true innovation can only arise when nations come together in collaboration. I'm deeply honored by the warm interest and strong support. With a total of more than 300 participants representing nearly 30 countries here with us in this room. I'm confident that the discussion we will have over the next 2 days will be both inspiring and impactful. It is my firm hope that diverse perspective exchange here will pave the way towards building a more peaceful and equitable society. May this dialogue serve as a collective force that drives forward in shaping the future of peace and security. Thank you all here again for being here today. Welcome to Thailand. Welcome to Thailand Security Dialogue 2025. Let it begin. Thank you very much.
Once again, thank you so much to General Pongthep Kyaochayo, the Commanding General of the National Defense Studies Institute, of course, with the opening statement there. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we continue on with the keynote address.
Yes, and now we move to the keynote address. It is my honor to introduce our keynote speaker, Professor Dr. Surakiart Sathyanthai, former Deputy Prime Minister of Thailand, who will speak on the pulse of global security in the upcoming decade.
And of course, as General Pongthep mentioned, in pursuit for peace and security, can we really find peace in the world? With this topic of the pulse of global security in the upcoming decade, we'll be hearing hopefully some of the challenges faced in the global situation now. Now, let me talk to you about the biography of Dr. Suragit Sathyanthai. Professor Dr. Suragit Sathyanthai is the chairman of the Asian Peace and Reconciliation Council, or APRC, and serves on several advisory councils, including Boer Forum for Asia and Leaders for Peace. He holds a bachelor degree of law from Chulalongkorn University, a Master of Arts in Law and Diplomacy from the Fletcher School, Tufts University, and a doctorate and Master of Law from Harvard Law School. Dr. Suragit has held significant political positions in Thailand, including Deputy Prime Minister, Acting Minister of Culture, Minister of Foreign Affairs, and Minister of Finance. He has also contributed internationally, co-chairing election observation missions in Nepal with former President Jimmy Carter and advising on Rakhine State in Myanmar. In academia, Dr. Suragit has been Dean of the Faculty of Law at Chulalongkorn University and held various academic positions at prestigious institutions like Harvard and Brown universities. In the private sector, he also serves in many leading corporate appointments of major international companies such as PepsiCo and Nestle. Dr. Suragit has been very active and he has been actively involved in public charity, notably with the Thai Red Cross. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Professor Dr. Suragit Sathyanthai on the stage.
General Songwit Runpakdi, Chief of Defense Forces, Royal Thai Armed Forces. So glad to be with you this year for the second time, and I really commend your initiative and giving full support in initiating the Thailand Security Dialogue as a platform for people from every corners of the security apparatus to be exchanging views, especially now that we're going through a very profound global disruptions. Excellency General Pongthep Kyachayo, Commander General of National Defense Studies Institute, Thailand. Excellencies, distinguished ambassadors, Excellencies, Chief of Armed Forces, distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. It is a privilege to join all of you today at the Thailand Security Dialogue 2025. Allow me to begin by expressing my deep appreciation to General Pongthep and General Songwit for this important gathering. At a time when disruptions seem to define our era, whether in geopolitics, geoeconomics, technology, or the environment, our task is not only to manage crisis, but also to envision a sustainable and peaceful security order for the decades ahead. The theme of this conference, Peace and Security in the Global Disruption, cannot be more timely. Disruption today is not a passing storm. It is the atmosphere we all live in, shaping the trajectory of nations and life of citizens. Around us, we are seeing intensifying rivalry among major powers, the weaponization of trade and technology, the rise of new and unpredictable security threats, and the human consequences of climate change and pandemics. In the Indo-Pacific, these dynamics converge with particular intensity. And for Thailand, disruption is no longer an abstract concept. It is our daily reality. Given our geographical position at the crossroads of continental and maritime Asia. One of the greatest challenges before us, of course, is geopolitical confrontation. The rivalry between major powers reverberates through trade, investment, financial and monetary competition, technology, and also territorial disputes. Tensions of the South China Sea, the Korean Peninsula, the Taiwan Strait, and conflicts close to our own borders remind us that the cost of miscalculation is high and the margin for error is narrow. In Europe, the war in Ukraine has demonstrated how quickly conflicts can escalate to destabilize the entire regions. In the Middle East, the violence in Gaza shows how the breakdown of trust and dialogue can inflict immeasurable human suffering. Closer to home, the crisis in Myanmar is a reminder that instability does not stay within the borders. It spills over into flows of displaced persons, trafficking, and humanitarian strain on neighbors. Peace and reconciliation in Myanmar is therefore a deep concern for Thailand, for ASEAN, and for the whole region. The rockets fired from Cambodia onto hospitals, people's houses, and public places in Thailand caused mass evacuation of hundreds of thousands of Thai villages in many provinces affected by the armed attack. The landmines causing casualty to people and tension along the border between Thailand and Cambodia is of great concern for the region. According to the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, global military spending reached $2.44 trillion in 2023, the highest ever recorded, with Asia and Oceania seeing the largest regional increase. History teaches us that when security dilemmas intensify, escalation often comes suddenly and with devastating effect. For ASEAN, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, therefore, the lesson is clear. We must remain a zone of dialogue, not a zone of conflict. Mechanisms such as the ASEAN Regional Forum, the ASEAN Defense Ministers Forum, the Treaty of Amity and Cooperation may not be perfect, but they remain indispensable platforms for confidence building, for preventive diplomacy and conflict resolutions. Thailand has long believed that preventive diplomacy must stand at the core of our regional strategy, because talking is always better than fighting, and trust, even very fragile, is always better than suspicion. Today, modern and conventional war occur simultaneously, and it is well proven that conventional war has affected economies of many countries not party to the conflict. Sanctions on Russia, for example, have disrupted energy and food markets worldwide. Attacks on ships passing through conflict zones, like in the Red Sea, have forced vessels to reroute, raising costs and delaying supply chains. This demonstrates the deep interrelationship between the modern and conventional war, and between the armed conflict and impact on global economy. Geopolitical rivalry and reciprocal tariffs have also led to fragmented globalization, affecting exports, investment, and global supply chains. We are living in an emerging new international economic order, in my view, where bilateral and regional free trade agreements may increasingly replace the World War II multilateral trading system. In addition to the free trade areas, like we have here in this part of the world, the ASEAN-China, ASEAN-Japan, ASEAN-South Korea free trade area, ASEAN-India, ASEAN-Australia and New Zealand, all the way to the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, largest free trade area in the world at the moment, comprising 16 countries. It seems that the world is moving into three fragmented trade relations. In addition to the regional free trade area that I've referred to, The three fragmented trade relations would be one with the United States, one with China, and one with the rest of the world. Are we going through this emerging new international economic order, replacing the World Trade Organizations and all the multilateral institutions that we have seen since World War II? What is more complex is the use of reciprocal tariffs as a negotiating tool to achieve political and security objectives, ranging from expanding permanent military presence in various countries to an exchange for ending armed conflicts. The role of the United States in ending armed conflicts between India and Pakistan, between Thailand and Cambodia, and Russia and Ukraine are examples of the use of reciprocal tariffs and threat of economic sanction to achieve political and security objectives of a certain country. Therefore, global security, both today and in the future, involves many more interlinked factors than in the past decade. Equally important is the respect for international law in any conflict or skirmishes. Principles just as jus in bello or jus ad bellum, or the law of war and the law in war, remain vital. For example, no use of force against unprovoked attack, no attacks on civilians or civil communities during an armed conflict, and the prohibition of the use of indiscriminate mechanisms to prevent and to resolve disputes with our neighbors. The joint boundary committees at various levels between Thailand and its neighbor, and the establishment of joint development areas of petroleum resources in the Gulf of Thailand, especially with Malaysia, stand as concrete examples of preventive diplomacy in practice. While bilateral dialogues may proceed slowly, they have rendered amicable and sustainable results. They remind us that patience, persistence, and respect for law can turn potential flashpoints into opportunities and cooperation. And my experience as 4-year foreign minister and 2 years deputy prime minister have taught me well that bilateral mechanism has worked and have worked for dealing with complex issues with countries in the region. But confrontation is the only one side of the coin. The other side of the coin is cooperation. The threats we face today are interconnected and transnational. Terrorism, organized crime, cyber attacks, pandemics, and climate-induced disasters do not respect national borders. They cannot be addressed by a single state acting alone. The scam center in one place can cause lives, suffering, and casualty to many around the world. And this is something that Excellency General Songwit has been working very hard in the past years. Consider this. The International Telecommunication Union estimates that 5.4 billion people, 2/3 of humanity, were online by 2023. This connectivity creates vast opportunity, of course, but also unprecedented vulnerabilities to cyber attacks, disinformation, or to be very specific, fake news and scam center. The World Health Organization has warned that the next pandemic is not a matter of if, but is a matter of when. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change projects that by 2050, over 1.2 billion people could be displaced globally due to climate change or climate catastrophe and natural disasters. With climate catastrophe, biodiversity will also disappear. These are not distant scenarios at all. They are looming realities, unfortunately. This is why I believe that the next decade requires us to build a new security and peace paradigm, one that complements traditional defense with regional and global cooperation. In this paradigm, ASEAN must act as a convener, as a bridge between East and West, and Thailand as a facilitator of dialogue. ASEAN should act as a convener for dialogue on a new global order in the forum called Asia Cooperation Dialogue, or ACD, which consists of over 30 countries across Asia. ASEAN should also act as facilitator in fostering economic cooperation among 21 economies in the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation, or APEC, which has both the United States and China as members. Our strategic position and long-standing policy of balanced engagement equip us to play this role. And ASEAN should also take a proactive role in the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, RCEP, which comprises of 16 countries, to design a new international economic order in the midst of unilateral action by a certain country. I was in Kuala Lumpur the other day attending the BOA Forum for Asia Regional Conference, and His Excellency Prime Minister of Malaysia, Anwar Ibrahim, gave a very powerful speech, one of which I would like to refer to is that ASEAN is playing a proactive role in the RCEP, and that there will be a summit meeting among leaders of the RCEP, the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, sometime soon in the future. That's the role of ASEAN. That's the role of Thailand. That's the role of ASEAN in the region and beyond. Looking ahead, three impulses will shape global security in profound ways. The first is, of course, technology. Artificial intelligence, cyber warfare, and autonomous weapons are transforming the battlefield as profoundly as nuclear weapons did in the last century. While artificial intelligence offers opportunities for enhanced security, it also introduces new vulnerabilities, from cyber sabotage of critical infrastructure to the potential misuse of AI in autonomous decision making, and also in physically attacking targets in another country party to the conflict. The second impulse is economics. As global fragments, supply chains are being reshaped, and interdependence itself is being weaponized. In 2024, the World Trade Organization reported more than 3,000 active trade restrictions worldwide, triple the number from a decade earlier. Economic measures are increasingly used as strategic weapons, blurring the line between commerce and conflict. The multilateral institution has been disregarded. Multilateral cooperation seems to be replaced by bilateral, if not unilateral, action. And the third impulse is human security, from energy scarcity to food insecurity, from climate-driven migration to public health crisis. The stability of societies will increasingly depend on how well we protect not only states, but also people. Human insecurity breeds instability. If we are to secure peace in this disrupted world, we must broaden our understanding of security to include not only military might, but also resilience, sustainability, and human dignity. And on this particular issue, as Chancellor of Chulalongkorn University, we will be happy to be working closely with the Thai Armed Forces to look at this particular issue. Thailand may not be a great power, but we can be a great connector. From our role in Cambodian peace process in the 1980s, which I was involved as advisor to the late Prime Minister General Chachai, I was borrowed from Chulalongkorn University to be helping that particular Prime Minister through the promotion of the Asia Cooperation Dialogue in 2002 that I alluded to earlier. Thailand has consistently sought to build bridges. Our foreign policy tradition emphasizes balance, inclusivity, and engagement. In this decade of disruption, Thailand's greatest contribution will be to work with like-minded countries to foster trust, convene dialogue, and ensure that our region remains one of cooperation rather than confrontation. Ladies and gentlemen, the impulses on global security in the upcoming decade will test us in ways we have never experienced. The stakes are high, the risks are real, and the pathways are uncertain. But disruption need not mean destruction. If we can transform rivalry into resilience, confrontation into cooperation, then disruption can become the catalyst for a more peaceful and stable order. Thailand history has shown that even small nations can make a large difference. When we choose dialogue over division, patience over provocation, and principle over power, our role is not to dominate, but to connect, not to escalate, but to reconcile, not to withdraw, but to engage. Let me leave you, ladies and gentlemen, with a Thai saying, สามัคคีคือพลัง Unity is strength.